An idea born out of Monday morning chats at the coffee machine. In this series, we chat to our guests about their going out experiences and how it shaped them.
Join us, Pippa
And Georgia,
team members at Skiddle who love going out and miss chatting about it.
Welcome to episode 5 of the Going Out podcast. Today we spoke to Emerald Rose Lewis.
We chatted about growing up on the outskirts of London, her journey from her first Rinse FM show to now, and what it's going to feel like to get back into the clubs after a year hiatus. Enjoy!
Today we welcome DJ and radio presenter Emerald Rose Lewis to the Going Out podcast. Welcome.
Woo!
Thank you very much for having me, ladies.
We're really excited to have you.
Really excited.
We kind of broke our D&B, like no D&B situation last week, so it's great to get another one on representing bass, I suppose. So we just want to hear about your going out experiences, really. Where did you grow up and what were you doing when you were first going out?
I mean, my first going out stories are not cool.
That is completely fine.
They often aren't. They often aren't.
So before I started going to like actual good raves with good music, my stomping ground was Southwest London. So I was going out in Kingston a lot, which consisted of every Friday night at Oceana. Which I don't think it's not called Oceana anymore. I think it's called Prism, like the chain.
Yeah,
it's one of them. Isn't they?
Yeah, every that kind of town has that kind of club, and they're now called Prism all over the country. But they used to be called Oceana, and they were legendary. But yeah, you could find me in the R&B room most of the time at Oceana, stuck to the floor, drinking Lambrini.
Oh, amazing! I was going to say actually, one like common thing about those clubs is that your feet would stick to the floor.
Oh yeah, they always had carpet.
That was just like a memory that like broke then, just being like across the floor.
It was absolutely minging, but it was a really good time. And I was a little bit of a Larry teenager really, and I was always flushing my eyelashes down the loo in tears by the end of the night. So that was me. But yeah, I'm from like the Southwest London outskirts, like a middle ground between Surrey and Southwest London, basically, in a place called Shepperton, which is near Staines. Everyone knows Staines, so I normally just say I'm from Staines.
Nice. I feel really bad because like I don't know anywhere south of Manchester other than Birmingham and London, so this is a new place for me.
Well, I've been in Hackney for over 10 years now, so I'm just going to say London.
Yeah. Such a big place. So when you were going out during those times, what kind of music were you listening to? Like, what were the artists that you were kind of looking up to?
Oh, I mean, maybe let's fast forward from Oceana time. When I first started properly going like to actual raves and to proper parties and to big clubs and venturing further than Kingston, further into London, well, not even that much further. I was hanging out in Vauxhall quite a lot, going to Hidden a lot of the time. And or going to M.I.A, which was, I think it's called M.I.A, which is the club inside the Millennium Dome, which used to do Forward, which was a rinse night, and lots of other dubstep nights basically, which was around Magnetic Man era. Yeah. Red Light, Katy B, that kind of era. Dubstep was my thing for a long time. So yeah, that's kind of where it all began really in terms of clubbing.
We were chatting about that, weren't we, on last week's with Hybrid Minds? Yeah. So he said that he got into like drum and bass around the dubstep era. And it felt like that was where like bass was kind of like coming through a little bit more and it was getting more widely known. And then he said it went over to like America and basically shot off, and then drum and bass, like, I don't know, got bigger here. So were you DJing at that time?
No, not yet. I wasn't brave enough to, really. I was kind of I was more selecting. I was playing for mates. I was playing for a couple of mates who had, sorry, just knocking the microphone there. I was playing for a couple of mates who had like small record labels. I was always like, can you play my party, please? That kind of DJ. But I wasn't really mixing properly yet. I didn't have the equipment and all the balls too, basically. So until further along when I started at Rinse, I wasn't really playing out. But I would have loved to have been. Yeah. I would have loved to have been, but it just wasn't, I wasn't ready at that time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you reeled off a ton of jobs on Sarah Story's podcast. What can you talk us through some of those? Because I feel like that always coincides with when people first start going out and stuff, and they just want a bit of pocket money or whatever to go out with.
Totally.
What were some of the jobs that you were doing?
Oh my God, so many different jobs. My first full-time job was at Top Golf. I don't know if anyone listening knows Top Golf. Do you guys know Top Golf?
I've heard of it.
No, I have been. It's like a driving range kind of thing.
It's a driving range, but it's like lads.
Yeah.
Okay.
Little things called bays, basically. And I was a bay host, which is basically a glorified barmaid, but who steps outside of the bar and goes up to the bay and says, "You what, lads? Fancy a pint? Fancy a burger?" That was my job for a good 2 years, full time.
Oh, what was that like, dealing with like a load of Larry lads all the time?
I really enjoyed it.
The banter with the like vibe. Yeah, I imagine it's kind of like, woo.
It's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. And it's, I think I just thrive in social environments like that.
Yeah.
And so it felt great. It felt great. And I made a lot of mates there for life. And it was good. It's really nice working in hospitality, I think. I've done a lot of hospitality jobs where I've worked in bars and restaurants and whatever. And it's almost like it kind of sets you up if you want to be a presenter or something like that. It's a really good way to sort of test your personal skills.
Yeah.
Because every person you're meeting is completely different. Mm-hmm. And your responses have to be quick and fast. And it's a good way to sort of get yourself used to dealing with so many different personality types.
Yeah,
I never thought of that, but especially because you don't know what the other person's going to say. So I guess that's really good experience for like your presenting stuff.
Yeah,
totally. Because everyone's so different. You get thrown into all kinds of awkward situations a lot of the time as well, and you get thrown into amazing situations too. So yeah, I'm really grateful that I had that time working in hospitality. But then also alongside that, I was doing about 6 million other jobs. I was teaching assisting. I was doing one-on-one with autistic children. I was full-time nannying my 8-month-old brother for a bit as well.
Oh, wow.
I was in a dance troupe where we did disco skates and hula hoops.
Oh.
We were doing like music videos and festivals and all that.
Oh, that sounds sick.
What other jobs did I have?
Are you pretty like badass then on the rollerblading and stuff like that?
You know what? I'm sick at hula hoops.
Oh,
but when I first started skating, when I started getting good, I broke my leg.
Oh.
Yeah, I broke my leg really bad and my ankle. This was like 6 years ago now, maybe almost 7 years ago. It was 7 years in October, I think. So I worked it out the other day. And I smashed my ankle to pieces and my calf bone, my tibia. And I've got 10 plates and 2 screws in my leg now. So you will not see me on a pair of roller skates.
Wow. It's understandable.
Was it like the roller skates with the 4-wheel, like the square wheels, or like all on one line?
Quads. The one with the
God, they're so hard.
Yeah, inlines I think are a bit easier to balance, but quads you've got to really find your feet, and it's very easy to fall over.
Yeah, I had to go on one of them in Bristol.
They look easy, the quads, but they're really not.
No.
They're like, oh, you got more balance, but no.
And then they've got the little stopper things as well, but it still scares you when you...
Yeah. You spend a lot of time on your ass when you first start skating on quads.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, pretty much.
Back to the hospitality bit, did you ever used to go out with your like friends from hospitality? Because I used to work in a pub, and I used to feel when I used to go out with the people from the pub, it used to always be such a wild night, because I think people in hospitality have so much more energy. So on nights out, they're always just more kind of eventful, more crazy. Like, was that the same for you?
Yeah, so I used to work at a pub called the Cat and Mutton, which if you're from East London, you'll know it. It's like on Broadway Market. It's like one of the best Hackney pubs, although it's got new management and new ownership now. When I worked there, it was like the glory years of the Cat and Mutton. And I worked there for a long time, almost 2 years, I think. And yeah, it was a wild time of my life. It really was a wild time of my life. Looking back on it, I'm like, wow, I must have been exhausted, because it was relentless. We were just not sleeping a lot of the time, just working double shifts, going out, sleeping for like an hour and coming back and opening the pub again. All of us just like dancing on tables every single night, lock-ins constantly. It was debaucherous. It really was. For a long period of time.
Those always make the best stories though.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it was wicked. Like, I look back on it with, honestly, I think it was my favourite job I've ever had.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, that's so nice to be able to look back and think that. I think about my pub job and think it's definitely the worst job I had, because it's just an absolute like horrible establishment, really, to be honest. But the people I met there were like the best, so they definitely got me through it.
Where's this pub? Is that up north?
Yeah, it's up north, and it had one of those like deals where for main meals it was all 2 for 1. So people there were definitely like looking for a bargain and not really like just there to just like chill and eat a pub lunch. So it was pretty like there was food fights that broke out.
Oh, wow.
The police regularly had to be called. I won't name the pub, but it was fabulous.
Name and shame.
Yeah.
And from there, how did you get into radio presenting?
I first started at radio. It was my second ever presenting job. My first one was for a drum and bass and dubstep label called Never Say Die. We did NSD TV, which everyone always used to think I was saying LSD TV. I was like, no, it's N for November. Never. Get that one straight. LSD TV sounds exciting though.
Yeah.
But no, NSD TV. And imagine what that would look like.
That just makes me think of like cartoons and colours.
Yeah. I reckon it would be wicked.
Yeah.
So I did that for a bit. I can't remember the exact workings of it, but long story short, I sent a demo in. I recorded a demo with the help of someone really great who kind of just reached out to me and was like, have you ever considered doing radio? And I was like, kind of, but I don't know. I wanted to be doing music stuff. I wanted to be presenting, but I never really thought I had it in me. And someone was like, you know what? I reckon you've got a good presence for radio. I was like, okay, let's try it out. I recorded a demo. I sent a demo off to a bunch of radio stations, and Rinse were the first people to come back actually. And obviously Rinse is legendary. And I was like, sweet, I'll take a demo there. I'll take a little practice session. And they gave me the graveyard shift, of course, because everybody starts on the graveyard shift, which is like Saturday morning at 7 a.m. Who knows? Wow. And also around this time I had broken my leg. So I was hobbling in on crutches. And I remember it was snowing and it was really icy. And I was like slipping across the boardwalk at the Truman Brewery. It wasn't far off from sledding into the studio, honestly. But it was great. And then eventually I sort of picked up more shows. I was training, like I was kind of being trained on the job. Julie Adanuga was training me. She was a great teacher. And our producer, Sam Skit, shout out Sam, who really trained me up to be more confident and really built my confidence up and gave me some really good tips and lessons. And I was just obsessed with it. I was so obsessed with it. I was like, I'm just going to get really good at this because I had nothing else to do as well because I've broken my leg.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the only thing motivating me at the moment. So I just put everything into it. And I ended up picking up shows really quickly. Eventually did the breakfast show and then the drive time show. And then I wanted to move on to more club focused stuff and shows. So then now I've been doing my weekly club show for almost 3 years now. Oh my God, time is flying.
Wow. I feel like especially because 2020 was 2020, it feels almost that things are going faster because when you reference in last year, it's now.
Last year.
Yeah, it's weird.
What was scary.
What was it like for your kind of social life when you started kind of doing like breakfast shows, and did you kind of still like go out, party and stuff like that? How was it juggling both sides?
Yeah, we're still going out.
Yeah.
I was still going out.
I thought that was going to be your answer.
Yeah.
I didn't want to assume.
No, I was 100% still going out and it was exhausting because it just sucks because obviously like the fun starts getting going when it's later, like, you know, when you go to an afters or whatever. And I'm just always there watching my clock like, I've got to get up in like 2 hours.
Oh, did you ever do anywhere you just kind of went straight through and went straight to the show?
Yeah, I've never actually told anyone this. I think I got away with it. I thought I got away with it. I mean, I have gotten away with it.
Yeah, still there.
It was a long time ago. So anyone from Rinse, if you're listening right now, I'm really sorry. But it was interesting. I did roll straight through. I was kind of going for a breakup at the time and I went out and I had a wild night and I just decided that I could do it. And I was like, yeah, it'll be fine. I'm just going to go straight to the breakfast show. I went in and like, nah, I got about 20 minutes in and I was like, I can't do this, cannot do this. And I looked at my producer and she was like, you can do it. I was like, okay, I'm going to keep trying. And about half an hour in, I was like, nah, can't do it. But my producer at the time, her name was Gabby. She was such a legend. She saved my ass because we had some like pre-recorded clips, some generic ones of being like, good morning, you're listening to the breakfast show. go, la 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 la. And then she just sort of spread those out over the next 3 hours of the show. So thank goodness for amazing women who save your ass in sticky situations. And I'm never doing that again.
Totally.
So
yeah, a lesson's been learned.
I bet that feels like so tempting though, when it is like when you're at like an after party and you're like, oh, I can do it. Like I've got energy. I'm absolutely fine. And then as soon as kind of, like you said, half an hour, you're just kind of like, oh, this is a bad idea.
Yeah.
This is bad.
It seems like a good idea at the time. And then you're actually sitting in the radio studio and you're like, what?
Yeah, and you actually have to be chatty. And you're like, didn't realise you actually have to talk still.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're trying to talk and all that comes out your mouth is like, hello, good morning.
I was going to say that, but after drinking, my throat is like sounds like I've swallowed a load of like knives or something. So that would be like the first telltale sign for me that I'd be like, hello, you're listening to the morning show. Oh. And yeah, at least you've learnt your lesson. Like you've tried it, but you'd never do it again.
Was there anyone around that time who was kind of like your inspiration for radio presenting, or was there anyone that you were kind of looking up to in that world?
You know what? The women that I was around in the studio at the time were really inspiring to me. And that's when I met M.I.A when she was 16, and she had such confidence and she looked like a woman. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was just amazing to be in her presence, and the way she would walk out of a studio with this like just gusto of womanliness was amazing and was really inspiring to me. Julie Azanuga was doing the drive show at the time, and she's an incredible presenter. She taught me everything I know when it comes to radio. I was really inspired just by the women I was around, really. M.I.A obviously was a massive inspiration to me and still is. Davina McCall was a massive inspiration to me also. I feel like every girl who wants to be a presenter of our generation looks up to M.I.A and Davina McCall.
Yeah.
How could
because
you not?
They're just incredible women who are just such authentic personalities, you know?
Yeah.
And I was really obsessed with Chris Moyle's breakfast show on Radio 1 as well. I loved it so much. I listened to it religiously with my mum. Me and my mum loved it so much. And yeah, I think it gave me a lot of my love for radio, that show.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember when that ended and how massive that was.
It was such an end of an era when that kind of...
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I love Greg James now. I think he's amazing.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, he is.
There's many times where I've driven to work and I've literally been like literally pissing myself on the way to work because he just comes up with all these little funny games and just figures out a good way of making everyone laugh and feel happy. Like even during like lockdown and stuff, it's been great. It's just a great way to start your day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I strongly agree.
There's something just special about radio. Like I feel like M.I.A said it on one of her shows, and she was like posting about it on her social, that how in like times of lockdown when everyone's separate, it's quite nice that everyone's kind of listening to the same music at the same time. And I keep thinking that every time I listen to the radio, and I imagine other people just like in the kitchen or in the car, and it's kind of like this nice kind of community feeling about it.
That's great. I've never thought about it that way before. That's a really nice one. Also, Clara Amfo as well is a fantastic human being in every single way, and she's a full-on inspiration for me.
Yeah. You've been doing stuff at Radio 1.
Yeah.
What have you been involved with there?
I've been doing a monthly residency show over the past years. I've done 10 shows now, I think. It's a shame though, because we never got to really be in the studio properly because of lockdown. So a lot of the shows are being recorded from home, but I managed to get a couple in the studio before COVID struck.
Oh, wow.
It was great though. I did a 3-hour show every month, which was representing new UK underground left field, like bass and dance music. So a lot of it was brand new producers, but then I did some interviews with some more established names as well, and some really nice guest mixes. It was wicked. I really enjoyed it. I loved doing that show.
How do you come across all these new artists? I know that's like your job, but where do you go to find all of these people?
Whenever someone asks me that, I have to really think about it, because it's basically just what I do 24/7. It's what I'm doing every single day. But I don't know, where do I find them? All over the place. But Bandcamp has got to be the best thing and best output for artists at the moment. It's really taken off in a big way, especially over lockdown, and is really supporting the underground as well, which is fantastic. I don't know. It just kind of happens naturally a lot of the time. And then you get talking to someone, or you start playing their music, and then they start sending you music, and then you hear about somebody else through that. It's quite like a natural event, I guess, finding someone new. Also, I'm forgetting that before this lockdown, you'd hear new artists and new music at a rave.
Yeah.
It's literally left my mind. I'm so used to this new way of life now. I'm forgetting, like, hold on, we actually used to just be in clubs listening to new music. So obviously that is where you would hear new artists, new music and new DJs. And yeah, I'm just feeling quite nostalgic now. I miss it.
That's so true, because I feel like a lot of the artists I find, I'm always like, oh, I was at this festival and my friend either wanted for me to go, or you stumble across someone, and I've kind of forgot that's how like you do listen to new music. And even just being in like the Skiddle office and people putting new artists on the radio or the stereo system and not having that, I've just realised that maybe I'm missing out on so many new artists at the moment now.
Also, I guess playing with other DJs as well. If I'm thinking about it now, the times when I'm playing with another DJ, we're back to back, like for hours and hours, you're sharing music constantly and you're nicking each other's tunes essentially, or sharing each other's tunes, and in that way discovering great music and great producers.
Yeah, I miss Shazamming in a club.
Oh yeah, your Shazam's got all like the best tunes, because you've seen, like, you've been in like a shop and you're like, I need this.
Yeah,
this tune. It's always got a collection. How have you found like recording your radio show remotely? Like, do you record it in advance, or do you do like live recordings from home?
From home, I will record it all. It depends. If I'm doing my Radio 1 show, half of it is me mixing and then the other half is me talking about tunes. So I'll build my own show plan. I'll put everything in there according to time and minutes and whatever, and then I'll record. Oops, sorry, I keep talking. And then I'll record the in-between links, etc., etc. But every mix that I've been recording from home, I've been recording it as live, essentially. So I'll record it as a live mix and then export that and send that out. So I'm not doing anything through Ableton or anything like that. It's not that I'm like, oh, why are you building mixes on Ableton? I just actually don't know how to.
Love that.
I've never done it before, but also I can't imagine it's very fun. Like, I want to mix. You know what I mean? So I would rather do it as live than build it, you know, like you're just inputting tunes onto a software program. You know?
Yeah.
Do you still ever have those moments where like something goes wrong when you're mixing something?
Yeah, constantly. Constantly. Also, I guess recording and building shows through lockdown it's so tech reliant, and we're not surrounded by producers or professionals in places with high spec tech. So it's so DIY that things go wrong all the bloody time. I was recording something for Beatport and M.I.A. the other day. We did her residency, and it was going so well. It was going so well. And my housemate, bless him, he's so sick and he helps me out all the time. He's a DOP for Arsenal Fan TV, so he's got amazing camera equipment and he films loads of stuff for me. He's the best. Shout out, Brennan.
What a great housemate.
Oh, I know, it's amazing. So he's filming it for me, but he left the room because he had a meeting. He was like, I've got a meeting. And then he comes back in at the end and the camera obviously stopped recording halfway through.
Oh.
So I only recorded half an hour of it. So honestly, the rage that happens when tech doesn't come through for you is so intense. But then I find what always happens is the next time you record it, it's better anyway. So sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. And we recorded it again the next day and we set up a projector and we took our time with it. And obviously I'd done the mix once already, so the mixing was smoother and whatever. So I'm kind of glad in hindsight that it didn't work the first time.
Yeah, that's nice. You took a learning from something that went wrong, which is always a positive.
Yeah, that's always a good mentality to have.
Yeah.
And you have your Afters series, which goes really well with the theme of this podcast.
Yeah, we're so excited to talk about this with you.
We've not actually had Afters conversation. So so you started Afters, and was that originally events?
Oh, it sounds better when you guys say it. Afters.
Afters. But I feel like I talk too literally. Afters.
No, it's great. Afters. Some people say afters.
Yeah, afters.
It sounds good. Afters. Sorry, what was the question? I got distracted by you.
So afters, I want to say afters now.
Afters, tell us about it.
Afters was originally started as a live event.
Yeah. Well, we started it actually from the Rinse FM studios. And we kind of just wanted to build the concept and the brand and establish that before we took it into clubs. Because obviously with anything like that, you've got to grow it from the ground up.
Yeah.
And what was unique about it was we were streaming the party on radio at the same time. So we grew it from the studio and then put it into the club, essentially. And we put it in this little club. Can I say the name of it? It's like actually it's changed its name now, so it's fine. I won't be baiting it out. It was called SOC Studios, which stood for Straight Outta Clapton Studios. It's just like round the corner from me, and it's this great little club that basically has no rules. So it kind of felt like an afters because it was quite small and intimate, and you could do whatever you want. You could smoke inside. Not that I'm advocating smoking, especially inside. But yeah, we had some really, really great parties. After we took it out of the studio into the club, we did like 3 parties and had some amazing guests come through. But then obviously COVID happened.
Dun, dun, dun.
So we had to take it back into a studio environment. I actually did it from my house for ages, and it was really fun actually. I guess that's normally where the afters would be, right? In your living room. It made sense and it felt really nice. And then when the rules started relaxing a little bit, I was able to invite a couple of DJs to do back-to-backs with me, which was really nice because they're my mates as well. So it was well fun. I actually kind of miss doing that stream series, but then I also don't, because I'm like, oh, no more streams. I mean, I think every DJ at the moment is a little bit like, oh, I just want to play in a club. I don't want to do a stream anymore. Yeah. Although I don't know, I do like a stream. I am partial to it. I'm partial to a stream.
Yeah, and all you have to do is like sit in your lounge and everything's there. But like you said, technical difficulties maybe.
We chatted to Sam Devine about that, and she was saying how strange it is kind of playing to just like your phone screen, and we'd never thought about it that way, being kind of like the viewers of streams, and it must be kind of a surreal kind of position to be in. But I guess it would be great if you could back to back with your DJ friends and stuff. It must have been amazing. Yeah,
because then it feels a bit more interactive. You're with someone else, there's a bit more human energy there. Although what I loved about doing those after streams is that we were streaming from Instagram as well and through the Rinse channel. So we had like a split screen thing going on, and I was chatting to people live. So it was really nice because I kind of felt like I was interacting with the crowd and I could kind of hear what they were saying, which you never can anyway. You know?
Yeah, that's
quite nice. But now that things are starting to open up again, hopefully, fingers crossed, we've got some really big plans and some good plans. And my plan was always for it to be an after party that started late at like midnight or whatever and then goes on till 5 a.m, and for great established DJs to be playing with just like music heads, because that's what happens at after parties, you know. So that's our plan. We've got a couple of venues in mind. We've got a couple of things in the books that I'm not allowed to talk about yet.
Oh, excited.
Yeah.
We won't push.
Excited. Very, very excited for afters to take off and carry on in the way that it was intended to be.
Mm-hmm. So back when you started it at events, was that with all your friends, or was that like the general public could go? That
was just my mates, because it was in the Rinse studio, so we couldn't really invite the public down. But then the first one we had in the club, I keep saying in the club. The first one we had like in a venue, that's what you call it, isn't it? In a venue, which that was public. That was available to public. You just had to sign up for a ticket and come down.
How did you find that experience of putting on like an event and being more of a promoter as well as a DJ?
An absolute nightmare. I didn't know what I was getting myself into. Honestly,
it's a lot, isn't it?
Is that what you guys do as well then?
Well, we just have that experience, I suppose.
Yeah. We know a lot of promoters through Skiddle, and no, it's not a walk in the park.
I actually helped plan an event at Tuesday Club, and you played at it in Sheffield a few years ago for freshers, and there were Skiddle signs everywhere, and there were some really, really cool pictures of you playing. I basically helped to organise that for freshers.
How did you find that?
Stressful, because you think, who's going to come, and then you basically just like Oh, I feel like it's not probably a good advertisement for a promoter, but like it is a stressful experience because you're
back to anyone who does it. It's
such a what's it like a tight format that they have to stick to in terms of like making sure they're hammering out marketing, teasing it, then getting the marketing out as soon as the tickets come out, and then and then there's always like a dip in the sales, and then that's when you start really getting nervous.
You know what I compare it to is it's like your birthday party, but every single month, and you're scared that no one's going to come, and you've got to like make sure you've invited everyone, and but it's obviously much more stressful than your birthday party. But when it's your own party as well, you feel such an ownership to it that you're always just terrified that it's not going to be good, and it's so stressful. Also, something that I really learnt through doing this and through the stress of doing this is always reply quickly as a DJ for someone trying to book you, because when DJs take ages to reply to you, or they're a bit and that's the most stressful thing in the world, because then time starts to run out and you haven't got anything solid, you haven't got anything in the books. So what I've learned now is whenever anyone asks to book me or gives me an offer, reply straight away. If any DJ listening,
oh, that's great advice. That is great. That would surely make a lot of promoters we work with lives easier. So yeah, I think that's great advice.
Yeah, because I guess then you don't want to book someone else, because if the first person comes back, they were obviously your first choice and you want to make the space for them. It must be horrendously stressful.
There's a lot to it. There's a lot to it, and I didn't realise there was. But I'm kind of getting the swing of it now, and I've got a great team as well. It's not like I'm doing it all on my own, so it's up my team.
What are you most looking forward to? Well, the roadmap it started effectively. Where are you most looking forward to going out?
Oh, I'm a bit scared.
Yeah, we were just talking about this.
Yeah, before you came on, we were just talking about how we are a bit nervous about going out.
I'm finding it quite overwhelming seeing all these lineups, and I'm just a bit like imagining myself being out for that first weekend or going to a festival again. I'm a bit like, whoa, it's going to be really intense and scary and full on, and everyone's going to be super energized. Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I can trust myself to like look after myself. Yeah, I'm obviously really looking forward to it. Where am I looking forward to going out most? Do you know what? I'm looking forward to playing again the most. I really, really am. I'm really looking forward to that. I think my first one back in the books is, I don't know if I can talk about it. I can talk about it. No, I can't talk about it.
Oh, we were so close.
Let's just say it's a very prolific, fantastic, beloved London nightclub.
Oh, exciting.
Okay.
Don't say anything else.
We might.
We're guessing.
We might talk about this place sometimes. That's my vibe I'm getting from that.
I'm speaking in this code now.
It's likely that you have spoken about that place a lot.
Yeah, then you know what it is. And everyone else probably. But no. So I was going to ask about like your biggest pinch me moments. You got a nomination from DJ Mag for Best Solo Stream. What else has been up there? I mean, I can imagine that is. I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but what's been like the best highlight moments of your career?
That was definitely one of them. It was completely unexpected as well. So it was mad. We opened a message from my manager and she was like, check this out. It's like, what is this? Amazing. I was ecstatic for days. Thank you very much to DJ Mag for that. Always, honestly, thank you. Other than that, actually, it's so obvious. I don't know why I'm rubbing my eyes, pretending that I'm thinking about like, what was that? It was touring with M.I.A. as her DJ.
Wow.
Oh, amazing.
It was like, it sounds so cliche, but it literally was a dream come true. Because I dreamt about that happening, and that was an ultimate goal for me that I never really expected to be a realistic goal. And it happened, and it was fantastic. Like, we toured so many different countries. We supported Lauryn Hill and Busta Rhymes. We headlined Festival, and you're on that stage, and you've got a microphone in your hand, and you're doing what you're doing, and you just have to sort of get through it and do it well. And afterwards, you're like, this is actually happening. That this is real life. And you do sometimes think, am I going to wake up from a dream in a minute?
Was that Festival 2018?
I think it was. Yeah,
I was there. I was watching you.
Yeah. There you go.
I love that. I remember seeing M.I.A.
Yeah, because I saw him at M.I.A. that year at Warehouse Project. Actually, were you on that? There as well?
I wasn't there.
I wanted that one. As well,
No, I wasn't there for that one. But yeah, that festival one was amazing. Obviously, because that's a festival that I love and that is my country. Because we've been to other countries, so doing that one was great. Like my sister was in the crowd. One of my best mates from school was in the crowd. It was a milestone for me, definitely.
Wow. So you toured like elsewhere other than the UK as well?
Yeah, we did South Africa.
Oh wow.
We did some of America. We did Poland. Where else did we go? We did Australia.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we got around. We got around in the space of 2 years. We went to some really amazing places.
How did that even come about? Does she?
Oh, it's such a long story. But I'll tell you it.
Yeah.
Please.
Well, I first met M.I.A. when she was touring her album, her AIM album, which is her most recent album. And she was doing a lot of the London stations. And my producer at the time for The Breakfast Show knew how much I loved M.I.A. and was like, do you want to do this interview? I was like, yeah, I'm going to do this interview. If anyone else does this interview, there'll be hell to pay. So I did the interview. And after that, like a year after or something, she was curating Meltdown Festival, which is a festival in the South Bank in London, which has been curated by some of the greats over the years, like David Bowie, Yoko Ono, in that kind of vein of curators. And she was asked to curate it. And she put something out on social media saying, if anyone's got any ideas or collaborations, etc., then let me know. I was like, shall I just message her? Because I got ideas, like we could do some radio bits there. I could do some hosting, could do some interviews, etc. And if she wanted any curation input, I'm up for it. So I just messaged her on Instagram and I said, hi, it was really nice to meet you when you came to the studio. Got some ideas. And she messaged back saying, what's your number? And I was like, oh my days. Well, she called me. And then her assistant called me and was like, yo, do you want to come for lunch with M.I.A.? And also with M.I.A. Jama. So me and M.I.A. Jama and M.I.A. all had lunch and it was lovely. We shared some ideas. And then I think I DJ'd at a party in Berlin. So she asked me to DJ at a party in Berlin for her film, her documentary film, which was called Matangi Maya M.I.A., which was touring. That was the European premiere. So I came and I DJ'd at the after party and it was just the best time. And I mean, thank the heavens, I played a really good set and it went down really well. And then after that, I got asked to come and be the tour DJ for her next show. And I was like, are you sure? I was like, are you sure? I don't know. We went to rehearsals and I ended up singing backing vocals, which I've never done before as well.
Wow.
And then I ended up hosting and then introducing her and not emceeing, but emceeing, you know what I mean? And then, yeah, it just kind of snowballed, which was fantastic.
Suppose the moral of the story is make sure you always drop someone that message.
Yeah, voice your ideas.
Yeah, I think sometimes you just got to realise that you got to realise other people on a human level.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because if that person is seriously asking for input from public input, then they do want to receive that. So just go for it.
Exactly. There's nothing to lose.
Oh, that's an amazing story.
Do you still stay in touch now?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we chat from time to time. She's making music at the moment, but she is M.I.A. by name and by nature, so she's often hard to get hold of.
Love that.
That's class.
So we always have a question that we ask everyone every episode. So if you could go out I've just said that totally wrong. If you go out anywhere with anyone, where would you go and who would it be with?
Oh, it's well putting me on the spot.
It's a bit of a tongue teaser, that really.
I could go out with anyone, anywhere.
Dead or alive, not in a COVID world.
There's loads of
okay, I think I would go to Baltimore or Jersey and go to a Beam or Jersey club night, and I'd go with Rihanna, obviously.
Oh yeah, great shout.
Yes.
I've not had Rihanna before.
That's amazing.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
choice.
Like,
I mean, why wouldn't you? She's class.
Yeah. Have you been out there before?
not to that part of America, no.
Yeah, but it's on the list.
It's on the list. I love that music. I love it so much. It's got my heart. So yeah, I would want to just go and shake my ass with Rihanna.
Well, it's been really interesting and really great to chat to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you for jumping on. It's been great to get to know you and hear more about your going out experiences.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks very much.
We hope to see you at Afters event soon.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys have got to come down to London and come to one of these. Let me know when you're coming down. I'll put you on
Totally.
one, mate.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'd love to.
We're planning to do them up north as well at some point.
Yes.
Coming to a town near you.
Yes, exciting.
All us northerners, sorry, definitely want to be afters. Afters,
mate.
afters, yeah.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been really nice chatting to you girls.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Thank you. Bye.
See you later.
Thank you for listening to the Going Out podcast with Skiddle. Don't forget to like, rate and subscribe wherever you hear this podcast.
Thank you.